We are live.
You want to get us started?
Yeah. What it do? What it do, y'all? My name is Prince. This is
Michaela,
my beautiful wife.
Today we're going to cover our reflections from the cruise that we just returned from. During Christmas break, we had a chance to spend some time with some loved ones over in Miami and through the Bahamas through Carnival Conquest. It was an incredible trip, and we are so happy to be able to share it with you all.
So, I mean, just starting off, this was my first cruise ever. You had been on one. Where did you go on your first cruise?
On my first cruise, we ported from New Orleans, Louisiana, and then went through two parts of Mexico, so Cozumel as well as Progreso, Yucatan, and then returned to New Orleans for Mardi Gras, which was absolutely amazing. That was through the Carnival Valor. And this cruise was just as incredible. I had a wonderful time. We spent a lot of time ATV riding through Nassau, Bahamas, but also had some really, really, really wonderful times on the boat.
Yeah, I think that my favorite part, to be honest with you, was the food. If you wanted to, you can go and eat 30 meals a day, and I don't think anybody should do that. You will get sick, but I feel like it was one of the best parts. Is so many different options to choose from. Like, of course, if you go to a restaurant, you might get one or two things, but no, on Carnival, they make you really feel like the choice is yours. Like, they really are the heart of the party on that boat.
Yeah. I think that my favorite part of the cruise was the relaxation, being able to just sit out on the balcony and read a book. I was reading It's Not All Downhill From Here by Terry McMillan the whole time, and just was able to watch the sunrise and sunset as we passed through varying parts of the ocean. And I think that there is a lot of activities that you can get into, from arts and crafts to dancing to comedy and music, but I think the best parts of the trip are always the ones that are unplanned, unrestricted, not on any particular time limit. And so I found the most peace and the most joy just sitting by the water, being able to flip through a good book.
Yeah. And so, just to bring a little bit more formality to the video, I think that the first part that I think we should cover, at least because it's so fresh in my head, is just first impressions of actually being on a boat. A lot of people haven't been on a cruise before. What would you say was like your first time on a boat? Like, what did it feel like? And also, like, do you get seasick or anything like that? Like, what do you feel like?
I think that I was surprised to realize how complex the process is to get on the boat, and I think that that's a good place to start. So I wasn't aware of the amount of documentation that is necessary. Check-in begins a week prior to boarding the trip, boarding the ship, and so you have to make sure that your documents are printed out. There's a boarding pass that you have to utilize to be able to get through the security checkpoint. It's important that you print that out in advance. It's also important that you have a passport that is valid for at least 6 months prior to your trip, or a original copy of your birth certificate, making sure that you have that with an unexpired ID. Additionally, it's important to select like your dining times, and identify the people that you expect to be dining with on the cruise, so that when you want to get into the more upscale restaurants, you have that in advance, because there's no guarantee once you're on the boat, if you have a solidified dining time, that you're going to be able to sit with your party. Additionally, it's important to identify whether or not you want to have a Wi-Fi package, and if you aren't going to have a Wi-Fi package, that would mean kind of sacrificing being able to post or make phone calls without incurring a lot of like roaming charges and fees. And so we initially opted out of purchasing the Wi-Fi package, and we're just gonna have our phones on airplane mode the entire time. But then my family actually was enduring a little bit of a medical emergency, so we kind of had to switch gears and do the Wi-Fi package. That is significantly cheaper when you do it in advance versus when you're on the boat. So I would suggest, if that is something that you feel that you're going to need, to get it earlier. And then going through the port security is very similar to going through airport security. I think the only difference is that they have stricter policies on what can be brought into onto the boat. And so be very careful, read through what is allowable and what is not allowable. Something that I learned was that you and whoever you are boarding with can bring 2 cases of soda each, as well as 1 bottle of wine that is 13% or less each. And so I would suggest that, because the drinks do get a little bit on the pricier side on Carnival. But aside from that, I did not expect to have so much fun. I'm a little scared of water, and so I was intimidated by how big the boat is and how vast the ocean is. But that goes away really quickly because you're having so much fun and you're so relaxed. And so I would say that I was pleasantly surprised by how much I enjoyed the boat aspect of the trip. I knew that I was going to enjoy getting off the boat and going to go see the islands and those kinds of things, but being able to be on the boat and enjoy all the festivities was something that meant a lot to me. Yeah. So
just going back to a few points you made, one thing, as my first time cruising, it and you already covered this, but it was crazy just seeing the stuff that they was confiscated. It was crazy to see how thorough they are with examination. Like, we wasn't trying to sneak nothing on the boat, but they really do check you. They're looking for water bottles. They're looking for any electronics that's not supposed to be there. Any like Bluetooth speakers or like any of that, or any paraphernalia, anything that they tell you not to bring on the boat, don't bring it. Secondly, I don't think I was scared of like the big ocean or big water part of it. I love big machinery. I love like stuff that's vast and great and big. So for me, it wasn't as much of a like, oh, I'm worried about being on a boat. I was a little worried about being in the middle of the ocean. I was wondering how pitch black it was gonna be outside.
And it's pitch black.
It's dark.
Yeah.
It's dark. Like, you can't see more than like 50 feet or something crazy like that. Like, out past the water, unless the moon is shining down, and it don't always shine down. So, or at least that's what it felt like being on a boat. Thirdly, it would have been nice if while we were in Miami, if we could have got some pops, because if you don't get the drink package, you're not drinking no pop. You ain't getting nothing unless you pay for it. And some people find that's okay because they also offer stuff like juices, like lemonade. They had like a tropical juice. They had tea, water, and then
hot chocolate.
Yeah, they had hot chocolate, which was awesome. We also went on a cruise during Christmas. Is that like a normal offering?
That's a normal.
Oh, okay. So they offer hot chocolate, which is awesome. And I say that honestly, I think that if you like to dine, like if you like to go out and get something to eat, then the dining room option for you is gonna be a great choice. We had our dining time at 6:00 in the evening, so it was kind of perfect. It gave us some time to eat lunch and then have a couple hours for our food to digest, and then be able to just go, and get some dinner and have it served fresh to you. I don't know if they're preparing it fresh or what. I mean, all the food that we had tasted good. I don't think it wasn't anything that I didn't enjoy, except for maybe just this one cold potato salad that they had, which I don't know if y'all ever had cold potatoes, but the consistency for me is a little off. So,
yeah. Couple tips and tricks for folks who are going for the first time. Anything that you purchase on the boat is going to be significantly more expensive than the things that you would purchase in store. So if you are a big snack person like me, I would suggest bringing all of your favorite snacks on the boat, because the shops that they have at the promenade are gonna charge you double or triple what your favorite snacks are worth. Additionally, I would bring Dramamine. If you are someone who has motion sickness, there are also wristbands that you could wear that support that. There was a little bit of tension when I got off the boat. I felt like I was still on the boat and in motion a couple days after we returned from port. And so I would say that that's something that I would do next time. I did have Dramamine, but I think the wristbands are probably a little bit more of an advanced way to avoid that. So I would recommend looking up motion sickness wristbands. Another tip and trick, book your excursions at the docks when you're getting off the boat. It is a little bit less stressful to do it before you get on the boat and go on the cruise, but it's actually a lot cheaper. We were able to see a family haggle the price of ATVs. What we paid was about $100 per person. They were able to get it to $40 per person. And so yeah, we would suggest going to the ports when you make it to the Bahamas or wherever you're headed, being able to have conversations with the staff that have excursion sites and haggling those prices.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say, because we are a little bit adventurous, you take your own risk though. Because if you find an outside excursion, it's up to you really to get there and also to kind of ensure your safety. It was our first time in Bahamas, so we ended up. It was our first time in the Bahamas, so we ended up going through the CNC scooter rental company that partnered with Carnival in the Bahamas to be able to deliver that excursion. And even then, the price that you saw on the Carnival app, it was to make sure that Carnival got their cut, and then CNC scooter rental also got their cut. And so you can haggle your price down 100%, but still be prepared to pay things like insurance and the ATV rental fees and any of the extra like taxes and fees that they tack on at the end that you don't see, like those hidden fees. So, but I would say we really did have fun. And one thing that I would have loved to do would have been to go jet skiing. And I see online, like, you can find a lot of places that have that. But what you can do, which is an addition to this tip that we're talking about now, is go in online and look up the place that you're going to and see if they have any companies that offer like concrete prices online and that you can book through online. And
once again, do it at your own risk. It is something that you want to be well researched on. You don't want to mess around and book something without full context, because there are sometimes hidden fees that we aren't aware of. Additionally, you don't have to book excursions. A lot of these islands are really, really beautiful and have lots of things that you can do for free. For example, many of them have mercados that you can go to and purchase really wonderful souvenirs. There are lots of beaches that you can rent chairs from and then be able to have food brought right to your chairs. There are wonderful local tours that you can take and just be able to explore the historic aspects of places. And so if you are more on the adventurous side, I definitely think that taking the excursion route is the way you want to go. But if you are just somebody who appreciates being able to be in a new space, you can have so much fun without booking an excursion and just exploring on your own.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, I mean, that's you know, one of the main points, just, you know, have fun. Because I say that this, like, I was a little worried at first, but I feel like cruising is very, very price efficient, but it's so much fun. Like, we did so many different activities, and if you want to, you can fill your day up from the second that you wake up all the way to the second that you go to sleep, and maybe a couple hours afterwards.
Yeah. So yeah, I would rate this experience a 10 out of 10. What about you?
I rated it a 10 out of 10 too. Carnival is the party boat. It's the party boat. Go on Carnival. If you like a party, go on Carnival.
There you go. Well, that is all we have for you all tonight. Please enjoy the clips that we will link to this video for you all to get a visual understanding